and welcome to Undaunted Weekly Review. We begin with the state of the war in Ambazonia this week. We started the week by seeing the Ambazonian State Army's continuous firmness, reinforcing the Monday ghost town on the home front. From Douala Road to the end of the Atlantic Zone, the Ambazonian State Army tell the colonial governor, SDOs and DOs, and those who doubt that they dictate the pace in Ambazonia, that they are in charge. The Ambazonian State Army ASA demonstrated their firmness and control in Ambazonia, reinforcing Monday ghost towns and making it clear that they dictate the pace in the region. On January 29th, the Ambazonian State Army of Fako County took action and made Boya and the entire county ungovernable for those who tried to violate decisions made by the Southern Cameroon's government. The Boya Ambazonian State Army also showcased their tactical prowess by ensuring the safety and free movement of civilians in Oku, Noni, Zekwa, and Kumbo local government areas. Despite the military terrorist attempt, the Ambazonian State Army managed to escape freely and safely as well. Now, while the Boya Ambazonia State Army, on the other hand, sent a message that they will not sit idly by. It is clear that the war in Ambazonia is ongoing and the Ambazonian State Army is actively asserting their control. Now, things have been intense in Ambazonia this week. The Ambazonian State Army showed their strength and determination. It is impressive how they're standing up to the colonial administration and making their presence known. The events on Monday, January 29th were particularly significant, with Fako County making a bold statement and the tactical prowess of the Boya Ambazonian State Army on January 24th, which was also widely commended. Now, while the Ambazonian State Army, like every other week, fought to defend homeland, for others, the war is an opportunity for exploitation, something we saw in the report of Okalia Belai on Thursday. The colonial governor in the Atlantic Zone of Ambazonia, Okalia Belai, exposed his true intentions during the installation of the new senior divisional officer for Fako County that showed he is more interested in grabbing money than actually serving the people. He even warned that the new officer should stay in line with his agenda if he wants his support. Well, with the war and exploitation comes the high rate of insecurity. As we brought to you the report of Musonge Derrick, a colonial divisional officer in Yaoundé, who was killed on Monday, January 29th, by a special squad that trailed him from Yaoundé. The assailants reportedly dragged Musonge Derrick from his car, ruthlessly shooting him before setting his vehicle, along with some others, ablaze. Now, the disturbing video that later circulated on social media depicts a soldier known as Chief Moja Moja and a member of the colonial BIR force making a propaganda video at the scene saying that the separatists, quote, escaped before his arrival while Musonge was lying by a car in flames. Now, taking a step away from the state of the war in Ambazonia, we'll quickly delve through the dilapidated state the colonial administration has left Ambazonia in. Now, it is really sad to see the state of neglect that the colonial administration has left Ambazonia in. A case in point is the Menchum Falls, which remains undeveloped despite the potential for tourism and electricity that, according to reports, if harnessed, could power the entire West Africa. It is disappointing that the Minister of Tourism and Leisure reversed his decision to designate this same Menchum Fall as a tourist site. While the recent fire at the Cameroon Baptist Convention Church is another example of the infrastructural negligence. The fire was caused by high voltage after a blackout, and it is unfortunate, although expected, that the firefighting brigade couldn't respond in time, couldn't even respond at all, despite the calls for help, which points us to another infrastructural negligence, being the roads, poor roads that hinders transportation, which is no wonder why there was no firefighter on site even after several calls were made, resulting in the church being completely burnt down, leaving the faithful and onlookers feeling helpless. Oh, well, today looking at the city of Bamenda and going back to the speeches of the current colonial mayors at the time, they were taking office, it is very contradictory. These groups of selfish-driven individuals have worsened things than when they were before. The worst of it all is that they cannot maintain what they meant, but have rather destroyed them altogether. Amongst the 4 colonial mayors with the mandate, though not from the people, to better the lives of the people of Bamenda, is a city mayor who lords over the other 3 local government area mayors. And of course, they were never mandated by the people through the ballot box to be their representatives, but were rather imposed by the Kangaroo Yaoundé regime, the colonial Yaoundé regime of octogenarian Paul Biya, through deafening gunshots repelled electors and imposed puppets on the people. No doubt they are answerable to Yaoundé and not the people they are supposedly working for. Our focus is a kind of comparison between the present situation of Bamenda today and the taking over the speech of the colonial city mayor of Bamenda, Achombong Tambeng Po. He said he will transform Bamenda into Abu Dhabi, meaning to beautify Bamenda just like Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates. But he succeeded only in transforming far beyond a village, worse than a village. The sun rises with dust and sets with dust in Bamenda now, and you wonder, is he for the people? Well, we begin this report with what the colonial law holds for the Bamenda City Council Mayor, as well as responsibilities. Now, Bamenda City Council mayors and deputy mayors, according to the General Code of Regional and Local Authorities, the council executive is composed of the city mayors and deputies. Bamenda City Council is not different to this code. Hence, an order of 6th March 2020 confirming the election of Mr. Achombeng Tambeng Po as City Council Mayor and his deputies, Mr. Undo David Chi as First Deputy Mayor and Mr. Lucas Ngu Afong as Second Deputy Mayor after the municipal election of February 19, 2020 in Bamenda City Council, Maison Division, according to the Court of Northwest Cameroon for a 4-year term in office. Now, the responsibility of the city mayors, as stated, is the city mayor shall convene and chair city council board sections, shall prepare and implement city council board resolutions, shall prepare and execute the city council budget, shall organize and manage city council services, shall supervise city council works, shall represent the municipality in protocol ceremonies, shall exercise road traffic policing powers within the jurisdiction of his council to ensure public order, safety, tranquility, security, and cleanliness, shall be the store authorizing officer assisted by a state employee with the required qualifications. Now, this is how charming papers are with the La République du Cameroon's colonial government. Just going through the responsibilities of the colonial Bamenda City Council Mayor, one can truly see the city of Bamenda just as Abu Dhabi in the eyes of the reader. The reality on the ground is sadly very opposite. After the charade of February 19, 2020, in the name of the election brought in this native of Mbengui in Momo County, who is loyal to in-house slave Atanga Njipol, as the Bamenda City Council Mayor. In-house slave Atanga Njipol being the killer machine that La République du Cameroon's colonial government uses against the people of Ambazonia. After taking office, Achombeng Tambeng Po promised the people of Bamenda that he was going to transform the infrastructure in Bamenda to what is obtained in Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates. But months after, he embarked on the scraping of dilapidated patches of tar on the city roads and the demolition of roadside buildings, a move he explained to the people that was the genesis of the widening of the surface for a better tar. The people were overwhelmed that the long-standing difficulty navigating the bad roads would be a thing of the past. Some were very happy, a lot were very happy, and never even took compensation for their buildings demolished. But after destroying these buildings that existed, he has gone underground and nothing has been done. The project appeared to have died at its inception. 4 years after the demolition and digging of roads, he abandoned everything. The only justification he is advancing is that no development can go on in a war-torn area. like that in Ambazonia, and Bamenda, he said in particular. But this excuse of Achombeg Tabeg Paul contradicts their supreme head, Paul Biya, who has created a plan for the reconstruction of Ambazonia at war. The result of abandoning the project after 4 years is a dusty town. As early as 6 a.m., the city view is blurred with heavy dust particles in the air. Though the inhabitants of Bamenda have been sacrificed to leave wine and dine with dust, the private businesses of the colonial Bamenda City Council mayor are booming. He just erected a mansion at Bamenda Outstation and another story building beside it that he uses as his church, given that he is a purported minister and owner of the church. These not to mention the fleet of cars he now owns. Another question is how he can build houses but not able to build the road he promised after demolishing the house. Interesting. Well, at January 2024 evaluation of the 2023 investment budget, the Colonial Bamenda City Council representatives stammered when asked about the Greentown project they were financed to realize. The Colonial City collected the sum of 10 million francs CFAs to plant trees at the mid-path of the commercial avenue from T-Junction to the City Chemist roundabout, a project the city said was duly executed 5 months ago. But when the inspector declared that no stem was found after visiting the site, all the Colonial Bamenda City mayor could say was that the harsh dry season killed the trees. How interesting. It is given a bittersweet feeling, as it is both hilarious and very disheartening to face the truth that a 10 million franc CFA could not plant or sustain any tree within less than 100 stems. But while the surrogates of Paul Biya's regime, in the name of elected officials in Ambazonia, are subjecting the people to more suffering, they are enjoying the projection of the La République du Cameroon's colonial government with a bigger plan of enslaving Ambazonians. Oh well, still on the war in Ambazonia, rape has always been a tool by the colonial occupational military. Well, yesterday, the 2nd of February 2024, in Bui County, recorded yet another sad report of Biya's military barbarism and atrocities as it continues in Bui. The report confirms at least 2 civilians killed in the morning in Waingoilum by military terrorists, according to eyewitness report. Now, we are told following an attack on them 2 days ago that they arrested a civilian and accused him of communicating with the warriors. Another report suggests that his brother, who is mentally challenged, went there and asked them to release his brother immediately, but unfortunately he was also arrested and both of them executed. In another development, another military had been severely beaten by his colleagues still in Waingoilum for rape cases. We're rightfully informed they have been raping primary school children and threatening to kill these children if they report. But sadly, a brave 6-year-old owned up after a lot of pressure from her parents. And then you wonder, why would anyone want to molest a child of just 6 years old? But then nothing is too far-fetched with La République du Cameroon's military. We have constantly reported how La République, since the inception of the war, has taken the advantage to rape innocent young women, and now we're getting reports of children as well being victims of this molestation. Well, this is what happens with school children, especially those schools that are guarded by this occupational military, which is why parents have been advised to have more constant checkup on their children.